Figure out there and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully it's not going to hit anything like I normally do.
Does it have like two ailerons that work as elevators as well?
Yeah, the elevons.
Elevons.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's actually a very durable aircraft. When we did a test flight, we actually came in and hit one of those guy wires on that telephone pole over there that's 37.5 feet tall, as you remember. But it actually put a little crease in the front wing. It knocked the wing off, but it popped it back on. We had a little break in the foam, which glued it back together, and we flew it on a mission later that afternoon.
Now, right now it's just determining its home point. Is that what it's doing?
Where we powered it up.
Oh, okay.
It went downwind, and then it turns and comes back.
It actually reverses the motor just before it touches down, so it's a very short landing.
Man. That's pretty dang close for it. I want to find it. Is that all that can do? Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
eBay, does that use like one of those modified Sony cameras?
Yeah, well, they have several, but yes, it does. Not Sony, it's Canon.
The modified Canon.
Okay, now it's a $200 camera. They charge anywhere from $750 to $1,500 for it, depending on which model. They take out the flash. It's hardwired to the autopilot. The autopilot controls the pictures, and that's the really nice thing about the Phantom too, is because the app controls where the pictures are taken.
Right.
So it takes the brain power out of it.
Right.
And basically, trust me, the reason I got into doing this is because I'm basically lazy. If I figure out a way to do it faster and cheaper and I don't have to work as hard, I'm all for it.
So this aircraft weighs what, about 1.5 pounds, or so? No, it's actually 0.7 of a pound, I think.
0.7 of a kilo. It's about 1.6
Okay.
pounds. Yes, sir.
As it hit, you can see it actually knocked the wing off a little bit. There's actually a sensor in there that if it was still flying, it would let him know that there was a fault.
But it also has a drone not horizontal. See, it says wing not detected.
And
the problem?
That's bad news.
And as it hit, this prop is mounted on a little bungee here, so it knocked the prop off to the side. So it's got a lot of good self-preservation features. This is the little crease that we got when we hit the guy wire
over there.
And this is a replaceable piece, so it's a very, very friendly aircraft. Yes.
How much does a new wing cost?
A pair of them is $375.
How much is the whole unit?
The whole unit with the software and all that is $25,490.
And most of that software cost.
Yes, Steve.
When it's out autonomous away, is there any way of controlling it at all? EMS goes by, processor buzzes by.
Well, it has buttons to hold the position. If you really get desperate, I've never used it. Never had it out used it, other than to show people.
Yeah, it's very well designed. I mean, like this is magnetic catches on here for keeping the compartments closed and all.
Okay.
Wow. 25 grand.
Well, it's an engineering tool. Think about what for the surveyors here, what does the ground LiDAR system cost? Over $100,000? So really when you're looking about the amount of time it can save, and this is a very well integrated system, the Pix4D and the eMotion tie into each other when time is money and you need reliability. This is not a hobbyist aircraft. This is if you're into serious business, this is what you use. Yes.
As a ArcGIS user and wanting very specific and articulate data, I mean, I'm used to LiDAR and stuff like that. So how incredibly accurate is, can I use this? I mean, is it that incredibly accurate with the Pix4D?
Well, actually, I've got some slides on that in the last part of the presentation where they measured against actual tape measurements, LiDAR, and the Pix4D software. I think you'll be impressed with the results of it.
Are we Pix4Ds that can actually do that?
Yeah.
Are we fired up?
Now, I'm going to go get the Phantom here, and we'll fly the other mission. Mark, you want to go? Okay, so if you go ahead and start up the app.
To answer your question, yes.
It'll give you, really?
Yeah. Well, if you give me your card, I'll send you a link.
Yeah, I've got you.
Okay. The problem is with ArcGIS, if you want to use a background map, like the roads or something like that, they stop the zoom level at 19. I can zoom in. That's like I don't know, 1 to 1,000. You can zoom into 1 to 10 on the quality of the image you get that. So I kind of had to trick the ArcGIS online by making the road map a layer and my photograph a base map.
I just find it hard to believe that orthomosaics and that can make that happen.
Settings. Wi-Fi. You got the controller on? Unable to join.
It'll fire up here in just a second. It's
Let me
still
know when it
working.
goes green.
Okay, so you do all the standard type of pre-flight thing on this that you would with a regular Phantom. I've already formatted the SD card. I've set the camera settings appropriately in here. We're using the iOS version of the app. As we indicated, it's a little bit more stable. Plus, we have a connector from the iPad to be able to show you on the television as well, too.
Ready to go?
So that's the actual pattern. The aircraft will take off from here. It'll go into a hover. It'll do some checks. Hopefully the camera will point straight down. If it doesn't, I will point the camera down. And then it'll climb up to 150 feet. It'll go to the start point and it'll fly this pattern, and you'll start to see little X's show as it takes photos there. It'll stop, pivot, and come back. And when it hits the home point, if all is well, it'll then come back here and land, and you'll see that it's starting to transfer the images at the same time. Okay, so go ahead and hit next. It's waiting to hook up to the hi-fi, the Wi-Fi. We do not have a green light yet. Sure. Turn it off. So it actually hooks up to the hotspot of the aircraft. I'm still getting a flash. Oh, I've got a solid ring. You have your hotspot on?
I'm connected up with this.
Okay. You need to make sure you're going to want to put your phone, obviously, in the airplane mode. You don't want it in hotspot. I'm hoping that these mics aren't on the same frequency. We did have an issue, actually. Mark had a 2.4 gig hotspot that he was using with the Surface, and it was interfering with the transmitter for the EB, so we changed to a 5.8 gig one, and it's working fine now. Okay, so I've got a solid green system light. Yes.
There's the aircraft coming.
There we go.
I'm going to reboot this real quick. I think it was hooked up to my iPhone.
Okay, I'm waiting for the range extender to give me a steady light here. Okay, and I do have a, well, So we've got
Connected up. Oh hell, I had to reboot it because of that.
sure none of you have ever had any of these issues flying with your Phantom before. I think this is a pretty sympathetic crowd that understands at the hobby grade that this is the type of thing that you're going to be seeing and we're going to be dealing with here. But it doesn't mean it's not a good tool that can be used. But
Okay, we're ready to go.
okay. Up. Okay, so you can see that it's going through the checklist items. It's making sure that it's got the appropriate number of satellites here, which it should.
Saying it doesn't. There, home point set, S1 switch. All good to go. We got all green check marks.
Okay, so the things it checks are connected to drone, GPS satellites, home point set, phone storage, ground station connected S1 switch set. If I bring the S1 switch down, this should turn to an X. I'm not going to push my luck. I'll put it back. And then Mark's going to press for takeoff.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Taking off.
Will it automatically
No,
start
the Android is
engines
way
up?
worse. Let's do it with the iPhone. We know it works.
Okay.
Does the app automatically start the engines, or do you?
Yes.
It does?
Yeah, once you press takeoff, it will start the engines. It's already pointed the nose of the camera down. It'll do a little bit of a check, and then it'll climb up to 50 meters and then start the mission. These apps are still in beta right now? Yes.
I'll have to wait till you finish, but
Okay.
There we go. Connected up.
At about 30. Catch the map. Okay.
We're not, I don't have my cellular on, so we're not going to show the map in background, but we're just going to fly it, so we don't have to wait anymore. Ready to go? We'll try this one.
Go ahead. Okay, so the engines have started, the camera's pointed down.
Is
That platform you have on, is that for your GPS tracker?
That's a carbon fiber platform that we put on there just to help protect the camera. I'm sure it's not going to do much if it comes out of the sky.
It does its little dance when it's up in the air, so it figures out where it's going to go. And then it's headed for its start point.
And another tip is we don't touch the app at all when it's flying. Sometimes if you're zooming in or out on the maps, there is a feature where it can actually, you can look at the camera and what the camera is doing at the time. Due to the state of development of the app, we leave that page alone, and when we see the dots on the screen, we know that it's taken the pictures. So you should see the dots start showing up on the screen. The pattern we're flying now is just going to be 3 legs.
One thing to say is DJI and Pix4D, DJI software development kit is still in development, so it's still in beta. So there's a lot of moving parts happening right now. But I'm really excited about what's going to happen overall.
This is Wi-Fi only connected within the Phantom. It doesn't do Bluetooth like say the Nazas do.
No.
Are your grid missions limited to where you kind of take off? I've noticed whenever I start my app, I can only fly a grid from where I kind of turn the Phantom on.
You can move it.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to do it right now. You see the box,
Oh, okay.
the box on the upper left?
Uh-huh.
Just shift it around on the screen and hit that, and it'll move your box.
Okay.
Your grid
so you
mission.
Map of fortune
Take a couple of pictures.
farther away.
Yeah, and if we had cached the maps before, you'd be seeing either a satellite or an actual map.
I noticed that it skipped the dot.
Yeah, we missed one.
It's still in beta, right?
That one does it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, occasionally.
Will it go
Usually
back and
based
get it?
on wind.
Oh, okay.
Will it go back and get it?
No. Not at this stage of the game.
Generally, though, we've seen that with the significant amount of overlap that it has, it tends to be somewhat forgiving about, one missing image. If it's a whole bunch at once, it's not going to be as forgiving, though.
You'll get a map even with that mission shot. Now see, now it's creating the P4D file.
Where's it going?
It's coming home. We hope.
What if your transmitter dies? It's like,
It transits at the 50-meter height. You can go pitch. Well, no, I'm going to bring it all the way. Actually, I'm going to take control of it. Okay, see what I talked about? It's not necessarily coming back where it's... I'm taking manual control of it now and landing it.
manual meaning that you're still in GPS mode, or manual in your attitude mode?
Any landing you can walk away from is a good one, right, Steve?
Exactly.
Okay, I was about to turn it off, and I had to remind myself not to do that because it is actually downloading the images now. So it says don't switch off the drone. Yes.
I think I heard somebody over there ask a good question. Does it matter if it's like GPS or ADI mode when it goes up?
It's
got to be GPS. The S1 switch has to go up.
Unless the S1 switches up, it's not going to take off.
Are you generating the point cloud as well when you're flying? You have to have
No, when you're flying, all you're doing is taking the individual images. And it is not until the P4D file is created, which I believe is at the end of the flight, that it'll, as it's downloading the images to Mark's iPhone right now, it is using the Pix4D data to correctly geotag those images. If it was to crash right now, that P4D file's already been created. It's sitting on the iPhone, and we could pull the images directly off of the card as well, too. I'll show you inside. There's also an option with this on the Android version. I'm not sure if it's on the iOS, but if you have a good Wi-Fi connection, you can actually upload it to the Pix4D cloud, and they will do initial processing on it for you. They will tell you whether your data is good or not. They will send you back a rough orthomosaic and a rough, I think, DSM, and let you know whether it's good for processing. Then you can go to the site and download. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and send it?
I don't know that I have a cellular.
Okay. Well, but see, you can mail the Pix4D file to yourself. With the Android app, there's other options as well, too. We'll get into those during the remaining part of the presentation. Any more questions during this part here?
How long does that cloud computation take, you said?
When I did one, I actually took this mission that was still sitting on my tablet, and I noticed a new update of the Android that had that capability. So I said, well, shoot, let me go ahead and send it in. And it uploaded the 57 files or whatever. And I got an email back instantly saying, we're processing it. It'll take about 40 minutes. So after about 45 minutes, I got an email back with the 2 images on it, and I'll show you the screenshot of those, along with the results of it as well, too. You could also do that with a laptop. With the Pix4D license, they allow you to put it onto 2 machines. The thought is you put it on your laptop, so you do the initial quality processing out in the field, and then you bring it home and you put it on a more heavy-duty machine for doing the actual processing as well, too. Yes?
So you have to get that P4D file off your iPhone or iPad onto a laptop in order to do the processing.
Right. Actually, if he was to send the P4D file by mail, that would be a good way to get it to your
so you kind of email it
laptop.
to yourself, to your
Yes.
laptop, and then
or if you get to
all the
a Wi-Fi, you just send it all up to the Pix4D cloud. Let's say you're doing it for a business, and you're the one out there flying, and you're flying a day's worth of stuff. You got it on your tablet. You upload it to home base. They log into the Pix4D account. They download the stuff along with the P4D file, and they process it. So it doesn't have to be the same person doing all the workflow. And a lot of companies, I think, have set it up that way, where they got the geek that flies it, and then the other folks at home. So you really don't need to know anything about point clouds or anything else to be able to fly the missions and capture the data.
Is the P4D file on the SD card?
It is not on the SD card.
Okay.
But it is sitting in the iPhone.
If you do not get the P4D file, you have to fly it again. Now there's a machine.
Just getting imagery of the event here. You can ignore it.
Yeah, it's impossible. If for some
It's
reason
kind of hard to ignore and inspire.
the program crashes or whatever, and you don't get that Pix4D, then you have to refly the whole mission. Go ahead.
Compared to somebody like Precision Hawk, did these guys charge you for their cloud analysis?
I haven't.
For the I don't know that I can answer that because we have a license. Certainly, if you have the Pro license, you get that with it. I'm not sure if you get that with the Discovery license or not.
Yeah, I'd be buying a Pro if I did, so they won't charge.
Oh
you
yeah,
for
no, they don't charge us anything.
If you have the Pro license, there's no reason to upload to the cloud unless you just wanted to.
Oh really?
Yeah, or unless you're having 2 people split the work, or you don't want to have to hook your tablet up.
What is the Mapbox used for?
Mapbox is a way, and it's basically a way of uploading your finished projects to a site. Remember I said the TIFF file, even for this small area, was about 138 megabytes.
Right.
Well, you're not going to email that to someone to let them be able to see it. You can upload it to Mapbox. From what I understand, it's almost kind of like a private Google Earth, where you can upload the files up there. You can actually annotate the files. People can zoom in and out on the files, because when it creates the Mapbox, those that are familiar with Google Earth, it creates different tiles. So it's a picture at different zoom settings, basically. And so that's what Mapbox does for you. And you do get a Mapbox account free when you do get the Pix4D software.
You get a limited time Mapbox, don't you? Mapbox is not cheap. It's kind of like ArcGIS Online.
How much is the full-blown version on iOS, iPhone?
The Capture app on the Android or the phone are free, and the Pix4D Discovery app is free. And we can go in and what the free version has or doesn't have as opposed to the pro version.
And how much is the pro version?
The pro version, depending on which version you get, whether you rent it by the month, is $350 a month. $3,500 for a year, or I think it's $8,700 for a one-time
Lifetime.
license. Yeah. So it is not inexpensive software. It's not hobby-grade software. But if you look at other things in the surveyor's trade, Mark said his GPS was $15,000, and the amount of work that you can do with a tool like this, you really got to look at it. I'm not using this just to make pretty pictures for my friend. I'm using this as a serious tool. And that's really the difference in this application and photo stitching.
Yeah. The one time only comes, because it says only a year of updates?
Yes.
So after that,
I have ArcGIS, I have Autodesk products. They require a, quote, subscription fee. I call it an extortion fee. I'm not sure, I don't know what, I'll let Jeff talk to that.
I believe it's around 10% of the cost of the software. That's what most of them tend to be, is about 10% a year to get the updates and the full level support and all that. That's whether you're doing, other type of major heavy duty programs. That's pretty typical in the business. It's about a 10% per year fee.
Should we go finish up?
Okay, any other questions?
that was the license version.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
The 4D, that was the license version.
The app is free.
We haven't even gotten into the license. Everything we've done right now you could do for free. The app itself doesn't cost
You
you.
can't fly the drone, the fixed wing for free, but everything else is free.
And so you could take those images and you could, if you wanted a bunch of sequential images, you could do that. You don't even have to work it with Pix4D, but you're not going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot with it. Pardon me? Well, the problem is the apps have no way of controlling your camera. It's $10. And without, and it takes it based on the correct amount of overlap. So it's not going to be able to, unless you got something to be able to control the camera, it's not going to help. Yeah, and I'm not sure that this app works with NASA. It's still being developed right now.
That'd be a huge leap forward because it's a huge market of everybody of us that build our own craft and our own specific needs and have control over it for that application.
Yeah, there are other companies as well that Pix4D has partnered with a lot of airframes. 3D robotics, you can buy a 3D robotic, and if you look at the price, you can get $5,400 for what you think is Pix4D, and then the aircraft, it's a restricted version of it. So, and there is the capability of buying restricted versions with the lesser model SenseFly aircraft as well too. But what I'm talking about is a full-blown version. That's how they marketed and packaged it to the family. But as you can see, there's a lot of interest in it, and we'll go through some of the post-processing where this thing really shines.
What about the white? The 4500, yes.
Actually, I didn't this time. The app did it by itself. I can certainly do it with the thumb wheel. But it points it down. On the freeform app, you can actually tell it what angle you want the camera pointed at. You can set that in the Android app. I don't believe the iOS has it. Did you have the camera set at 90 degrees? Did you go into the settings and change it? Yeah. Yeah, you need to do that. You can always, if you have one of the version 3 controllers, you can put it down. Yeah, once it's pointed down, it doesn't matter whether the app pointed it down or you did. It's pointed down. That's all. But I did fly a mission once. I had upgraded it and it didn't point the camera down. But I got a really cool picture of almost flying into a buzzard up at altitude. So it was worth it. You can put it in, well, you could put this in freeform. You can get the Android app, you can put it in freeform mode. You'd have to hand fly the pattern yourself, and you're probably not going to have real good recall. I mean, you think you could have flown that pattern at that angle from that distance?
Now, what if you shoot it with like
If you had the ground station app, if you had
turn it off.
you probably get most of the way there. I mean, if you're doing it as a hobby or something, yeah, you can play with it and see what you get with it. If you're doing it as a business, you can say, this is great, I'm going to go out and spend $1,100 my boy.
Oh, and it fell right in the damn.
You're good. I'll get it. No worries.
Of course, the one spot.
Well, no, that's correct. You wouldn't get a P4D file. You could do an oblique image that doesn't use your reference data, but you wouldn't be able to get the measurements off of it. So it's not a racket. It's really the way the whole system has to fit together.
Is it the offices or it's your camera?
Yeah. You can stitch them, but that's bad.
Yeah, and even when you stitch them, you're going to find that when you're doing a panorama, you're always doing it from one position. When the camera's moving, it just doesn't work. And, you'll see in the mosaic, the first shot is the mosaic before it smooths it out. There's a lot of heavy duty limits that the computer has to do.
Artificial confidence.
Hold up here.
I was fooling around. I had some company over, and I was like, they just took the pizza out of the oven. They're like, damn it, the pizza's too hot. I'm like, I'll go cool it down. Flop wash. It's a lot of work. Well, you work right now. I'm trying to get it there. You can. I just figured it's probably pizza flavor now. No, but there's a heat sink and fan on here as well. So part of regular maintenance, I'm surprised DJ I didn't mention it, is if you are in dusty environments, you're probably going to want to take a look at that heat sink and fan and get it nice and clean. Yep.
What, 4,500 and 4,500.
149 and 290. Or 149 and 290. Yeah, I didn't even order it. $50 price difference for 4 more minutes of flight. I'll eat the $50. Oh, me too. We do have to go professional cases.
One of those times.
Oh, they're big. This you can take on a flight. The other you cannot.
But it is a more hard shell case.
More protections. One of the things I hate about this case is GPS
God,
buttons.
and where do they not put any kind of cushioning material? Oh yeah.
Please, let me have that. There's going to be a big market for the real case.
Oh, absolutely. We've got them. And we can probably get you one on loan and see if you want to write a review on it for us.
Some of the talk about that.
You've seen the case we have for the
Oh, absolutely.
Right back, you know. But
and this is great for transporting probably 70
It was their apology for them running so late with them.
But that's not something I would never do.
No way.
I mean, even the one we got back from detail didn't have but I mean, it was the aircraft was fine. This is just not. It wasn't.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and part of the problem, obviously, the more
Ramp agents and TSA, man.
It's not. It's nowhere near that. Small. The one will make sure web stream.
Did we already set the web stream down?
Rollers on it got the handle that makes it so nice. When I had my S450, just took it up to Colorado.
Should I stop the stream?
There's
nothing going on. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and stop. Stop it when I tell you to. Hey, Eric here, UAV Direct. Keep following us. We're going to be doing this more often. Later.
Not that I don't believe you, I just have a hard time buying that you can get such great survey data